Welcome to the Three Hacks in a Movie podcast. I am your co-host, Bentley.
Emilio.
And I'm RJ.
And we talk about movies, and we're three hacks. We don't know what we're talking about, but we try.
It's a pretty accurate description, I would say.
It's the core of the show. And today, finally, I got to pick again. And,
finally,
I got to pick again.
Like it's been a while.
My favorite time, when I get to pick the movie. And I decided for once not to like.
It's not a foreign film.
Yeah, it's not a foreign film. I wasn't gonna try to be like
shocked, dude. I lost a bet
with it
to myself on that one, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched Private Parts, which is a movie I've like always loved. I've watched it ever since I was probably way too young to watch it.
Yeah, you definitely should have been watching this movie.
But it was on the USA Network, so you know.
Okay, so it's like heavily censored. Yeah, for sure.
But
okay, yeah, because what year did this movie come out? I don't even
97.
See. Oh, 97. Oh, damn. Okay, gotcha.
And it's Howard Stern, so it's a very scandalous movie. Honestly.
Wait, what year were you born, Bentley?
94.
94. Okay. Damn. So you probably saw this. I don't know. Do you remember like your youngest memory watching this movie? Like how old you were?
It's probably like 12 or 13, which is 13. Kind of like a good age to watch it. Like
back then it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, back then it wasn't that big of a deal to be watching this at like 12, 13. It's over 13. That's pretty good, honestly.
I was definitely watching movies
like rated R movies,
or worse than this at that age. So
yeah, dude, for sure.
Might have been 10. I don't know.
I know. I was really gonna. I was waiting for you to say like 8 or something.
Yeah, 5.
Like nowhere near puberty, but you were just like at the precipice of puberty, right?
A little bit, still am, honestly. I'm still getting there, but one of these days, the second one will drop. But anyways, this is the only movie I've ever seen Howard Stern actually act in, and I think he does a pretty good job in it for not being an actor at all.
I think it's also easy because he's acting as himself, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
for
literally
sure.
just pretending.
Reliving.
Yeah, he's reliving his his early years as a DJ.
Starting in
Bro, did the term like shock jock come from fucking Stern? Because I felt like in this movie they referred to so many other DJs and they would just say like
Don Imus.
Yeah, like they didn't even call him a shock jock. Like they say he did like kind of out there things. Or I had literally never heard of him until
Don
this movie.
So I'm not sure if you ever heard this news story, but like he got canceled like 15 years ago on the radio.
Okay,
because he was doing like something about like women's basketball, and then he said something kind of racist, and then he got canceled basically.
That is not the route I thought that. Because you brought up women's basketball, I immediately think like, oh, he's gonna go to like a sexist tirade, and you're like racist.
It's a little sexist, actually. There's a little bit of
okay.
sexism in there.
Yeah.
Like, is this a podcast where I can say it?
Well, you can talk about the story. What did he do?
He said he was talking about the basketball game, and he just used the term to describe the athletes, nappy-headed hoes.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, right after that, he was like fired.
That's
what
nappy-headed hose?
Nappy-headed
oh my
hose.
god! So wait, you said like 15, wait, okay. When you say like 15, it's like you're talking about like the late 2000s, right?
Yeah,
like
mid 2000s. Yeah, around that time.
Dude, were we canceling people then for shit like that?
He was one of the first like people like who got canceled like that.
And you know why it was okay to cancel him? Because he was a fucking radio person in like the late 2000s. Like no one really cared anymore.
Yeah, he also said some other stuff, but I don't know what he was saying.
Oh my god!
But right before he got fired, or just in general, like back in the day.
Okay, so I would like to say, so RJ just highlighted the part on Wiki. Okay, Jigaboos versus the wannabes. I don't know, like I didn't even know that was a slur to me.
Did he say that like right before he got fired?
No, that was I guess McGurk, Bernard McGurk.
Was that his like
executive
co-host or whatever? Okay. Yeah, because it says he says nappy-headed hose and hardcore hose. Oh no,
hardcore hose.
No, that was McGurk too or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. Patrice O'Neal like went out on like Fox tattoos. And like said he shouldn't have gotten canceled. He was just doing comedy and stuff. So
yeah. Bro, that's a big thing. Nowhere even near that bad, man. Like Matthew Broderick killed somebody, and we still let him into fucking movies.
He didn't even say sorry, dude. I don't think he's even apologized to the family. Like,
I didn't look that deep into it, to be honest. I don't know, but come on, man. Like, that's crazy, dude. OJ got a book deal, bro. this dude gets fucking canceled. Like, holy shit.
And Howard Stern hates the guy because that was his competition, you know.
Yeah.
Don Imus was #1 in NBC when he joined NBC, and he was like a big shock jock. So I think Howard Stern was probably like having a party when he got fired, you know.
Oh, I'm
probably
sure.
very happy about that.
It's like you know Dave Portnoy, right?
Yeah.
The Barstools guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's brought this up in several interviews, but there's only been a few interviews where he's actually showed it in his office. He has a bottle of champagne, and like the label is like engraved with his enemies. And he pops one for whenever like one of them either gets like canceled or just like gets fired or whatever. And it's one of the pettiest things I've ever heard, but I think it's so funny.
Yeah, that is pretty petty, but that's how it be, dude.
Dude, honestly,
these people are competitive.
Honestly, I kind of love it because it makes me think that he's still literally the same guy he was 20 years ago. Now he just has access to a shit ton of money. I mean, he's a fucking millionaire now. But that never left him. He's just like, nah, fuck you. like I hate you. I'm not gonna pretend to like you. And when you fall, I'm gonna laugh and point at you. And I appreciate Howard Stern's like that a little bit. I appreciate the honesty. Honestly, I appreciate the honesty. Howard Stern kind of lost it for me in these like during COVID and shit.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not quite the same kind of guy.
Yeah,
he's nowadays he's pivoted from being the guy who had like porn stars on, had their boobs out or whatever on the radio. Now he's the guy who does like great celebrity interviews.
Does he?
Like that's the persona.
That's what he's going
has
for.
Now he doesn't do like the porn star stuff that much.
Okay.
He's like known for like having like Paul McCartney on or like a big celebrity on and doing like a really in-depth interview.
Okay.
So that's what he's known for nowadays, or he tries to be.
Yeah. I mean, radio, I literally never... I'm sure it's like a podcast now or whatever, but I literally never hear about radio people ever anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just Howard Stern, honestly, I guess. Like, I can't even really name... I guess Opie and Anthony, but...
I was about to say, it seems when he became #1, he was just #1, and there was like no one coming for his title whatsoever. Opie and Anthony, I always hear about just because like I listen to a lot of comedians and stuff, and they always talking about being on the Opie and Anthony show. Like, that was... that was like comedians' goals to make it like oh, if you make it to Opie and Anthony, like you're like being
Carson.
Like, yeah, for like comedians, like you're being really recognized.
That show was great because they would have comedians on and just hang out. Yeah. So it would just be like Bill Burr and Patrice O'Neill and Jim Norton in the same room.
Were they like regulars or did they just come out? Like, cause I feel like I've heard them on that show a lot or something like that.
Yeah, they were regulars for sure.
Okay.
Joe Rogan hung out with them, and you know he's our god, obviously.
Yeah, I never listened to a full episode of Opie and Anthony, but I've seen clips or like heard some clips, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it totally.
Did you guys ever listen to Howard Stern at all, or any other like shock jock radio?
Not listen, but every once in a while, when I was a kid, I would catch his show on like at like midnight or 1 a.m, whenever the fuck it came on. And I get it. I thought it was funny, but I was like, even as a kid, I was kind of like, this is kind of dumb because it's still television and so much of it is censored. I mean, because physically so much censorship because like there was so many whatever like naked chicks like and doing stuff on there, and I'm like, is this even entertaining for radio people to listen to? Because you're like listening to a girl be naked. Like, who cares? Like.
But that also makes it kind of entertaining because you can make up shit that's happening that's like not actually happening.
My imagination now and listen
that's
to
what the radio's about, dude.
I was a fucking kid. I already did that every fucking day. I don't know, man. I just thought it was so weird. Like, imagine some girl like, I don't know. She's like makes a big deal like oh, I'm naked, and it's like, oh, that's really cool to listen to. Like, I don't know. It's fucking.
But you could have a naked quote unquote lady in the studio, but then not actually have one. But since it's only like you're listening to it,
well, that's kind of my point, right? Yeah, it's just like that's dumb. Like
it's
who cares? Like she might not even be naked at all. She's literally in a pantsuit or something. Right.
But you're not listening to the radio for realness. You're listening to it just to be entertained and just to like have something crazy going on as you're driving to work.
But he actually did have naked chicks and porn
for
stars
sure,
and stuff and blah, 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 right? Yeah. So I get it. You know, he did a lot for the industry. So, you know, I'll always give it up to him for that. I mean, it really did seem like he was just trying to push what it meant to be like on the radio forward. Like he was very, like, it seemed very tiring to like listen to like these like safe DJs or whatever. I don't know. It's just like regular. You see all throughout this year, like, no, don't say this, don't say that. Like when he was just like, did he say testicles or whatever? And I'm like, hey man, that's a medical term. Like technically you should like I don't think the FCC can mess with you when you're using medical terms, but I was like, all right, whatever. It really makes me. I was like, damn, dude, shit really kind of did suck back in the day with like censorship. Now we deal with a different kind of.
Was definitely one that like was hard to say back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I always think about the story of I Love Lucy. They wanted to introduce that Lucy gets pregnant, I guess, at some point in the series. But not the FCC, but like whatever standards and practices at whatever channel it was on was just like, no, we don't want to do that because then it's gonna make people think you had sex, and that's too much for television nowadays. Like not even the mention of sex, but like the byproduct of it. They're like, no, that's too much. We can't have people thinking about sex and watching I Love Lucy.
They also slept in different beds too, I think, in that show.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, again, because of that.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing people were actually doing. That was literally because, like, if you had them in the same bed, then people would think, oh, they're having sex in their bed.
Yeah. But it was like because they were married. So it's
were
like,
they married in the show?
They were married. You would think they'd be like, oh, they're married. It's okay. Like, if they were like just dating, they would probably be like, no, you guys can't even live together. Are you crazy? Premarital. I don't whatever.
Can't even think about
co-opting, whatever. I don't know. I can't think of the word right now.
Suggest the thought back then.
Exactly, dude. Not even the adjacent thought. It's so odd to think about sometimes. Yeah.
You guys never like listened to like Shock Jock Radio or anything? Just caught on E pretty much.
That's pretty much your only history. I mean, in Phoenix before like smartphones and shit, obviously, like we would throw on like whatever radio station. I was thinking about the radio stations here that would. I don't think any of them ever did anything wild like interviews.
None of them are good.
Like wild interviews, but they would do like the funny like prank calls or whatever.
Yeah.
Like those I like enjoyed, or like get someone who tells like a crazy story that happened to them.
We had
over the weekend, but that's
Mark and Neanderthal here in Phoenix. Good old Phoenix. This really boring schlocky like.
I don't even remember any of like the DJs' names here or whatever.
I used to like to listen to Holmberg's.
Morning Sickness. Yeah, Holmberg's Morning Sickness. Yeah, that was like the most famous one.
I think it's still going, honestly.
Really?
Probably.
It's in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is like sometimes I'll get a TikTok about people like, oh, when your phone's dead, so you have to like listen to the radio or whatever. And then they're like, yeah, I kind of forgot how lit the radio can be because it'll be like the Morning Sickness show or whatever. And they're I don't know. They saw some good bits. If it's a prank call or if it's someone calling in about like some crazy thing that happened to them in their life or this past weekend or whatever. So
it's funny how the craziest shit they play on the radio is usually in the morning. I feel like that's when they play like the wild
as you're going to work.
Well, like everyone's heading
peak hours.
Like everyone's heading to work between like 6 and 8. So this is when the show has to be.
Everyone's going to church, and Howard Stern is talking about his small penis.
And then they play "Fucking the Kill" by 30 Seconds to Mars for like 10 times a day or whatever. Yeah, last time I had to turn on the radio because my phone was dead. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I didn't even remember how to fucking change stations. I was like, wait, what? I was like, why can't I find a clear station? Why is it all static? It was a disaster. But whatever. I made it work eventually.
I grew up listening to Howard Stern, and ever since I was also way too young, I'd just be sitting in the back seat and I'd be listening to like porn star sitting on the Sybian. If anybody knows what that is.
Like the Sybian fucking Sybian. Yeah.
And Howard Stern's pretty great, honestly, pretty funny. Like,
did you model your look after him, Bentley? When you did have long hair. You were like almost there, dude. Like you were like Stern. Almost there, yeah. If your hair was curly and you wore like dark tinted shades, I think you could totally pull off like a Howard Stern look.
Perhaps just cover myself in hair and like just hide in that.
I mean, you already had a shit ton of long hair, so you literally just have to like curl it up a little bit. How tall is he? Wait, how tall are you, Bentley?
6'2".
So he's really 6'1", guys. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Howard Stern's probably like 6'4" or something.
6'5".
6'5".
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, he looked
6'5".
fucking. He did look tall.
Yeah,
I was like,
damn,
how tall is he? I don't know why, but in America's Got Talent, because he eventually becomes a judge on there, he always looks short to me for some reason.
Yeah.
But he is behind the desk next to whoever and whoever. So
that's also when he sold out. Honestly, is the America's Got Talent thing.
I can't believe he ever agreed to do that. I was like, Howard Stern, the dude who made porn stars write Sybians, is now telling you,
trying to clean up his image.
Who's now telling after his kids are all like fucking grown up and shit.
Basically, I'm like, Dad, you're gross. You're always doing gross things.
You think you'd want to do that like before that moment, you know, when they're like kids, and he's like, it's time to clean up my act. He's like, nah, they're grown ups, and now I'm trying to be like a dad. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. He's definitely cleaned up his image a lot, and like he's the interview guy now. That's like if people talk about Howard Stern, they're like, oh, he's such a great interviewer. That's his call to fame nowadays. But this movie is based off a book he wrote about his life, just kind of like a little biopic, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like a self-bio. It's like an auto-biopic, essentially. Yeah. And then I'm guessing it's based off the same title.
Private Parts,
right? Okay. Yeah, classic. Yeah, for people who haven't seen the cover, it's him standing in like a city, and it looks like he's naked. And what is that? The Empire State Building. For the longest time, I thought the Empire State Building was his dick, and I realized it's just covering like him being naked.
Maybe it is.
But that's the cover, guys. Yeah. All right. So you've seen this movie quite a few times, right, Bentley?
Yeah, a few times.
Okay, gotcha.
I think this might be actually, so Paul Giamatti's in it, and this is kind of like the first. I feel like this would be one of the first movies people started talking about him a lot.
Okay.
You know, kind of put him on the map a little bit because it's like 97.
Yeah.
This is pre-Big Fat Liar.
Dang. Okay.
And
that was right before Saving Private Ryan, because Saving Private Ryan was 98. Yeah.
I think this is like one of his best performances too. I think he's really energetic in this role. He brings the Paul Giamatti like energy off the bat, right off the rip.
So I will say, like, it's very Paul Giamatti. Right. Like I feel like I've seen him act in several like movies and TV shows. I'm like, yeah, that's Paul Giamatti. And this seems like to be the beginning of that stereotype.
Yeah, pretty much. He does a lot of running in this, I've noticed. He's like running from like a room, and he hears Howard Stern on the radio saying some wacky shit.
Yeah, he definitely got some good cardio during the filming of those scenes for sure.
Blood pressure is probably pretty high.
But yeah, I did find I mean, obviously with any like biopic or autobiopic, I am always curious about like what's real and what's not real. But most of it seems like pretty believable about like, I don't know, something about a dad who always put him down, always told him like, hey, shut up, like whatever. Like that seemed like pretty normal back in when did he grow up? The 60s, right?
Yeah, 50s, 60s.
Yeah, right, something like that. Okay.
His dad was like a radio guy too. They
an engineer.
Show that.
Yeah, he's an engineer. He was an engineer at a radio station.
Yeah, that explains why he wanted to get into radio.
Yeah, because he would see like the DJs there, and he's like, oh yeah, I want to do that.
The synopsis of the story is pretty simple, honestly. It's very basic, just kind of like
synopsis size of Bentley. What is it?
Basic career history. It's like his resume in a movie, essentially.
Okay, yeah.
But it basically like he wants to be a radio guy because that's what he's like raised in, and he goes to school for it, tries to do it. He sucks. He doesn't have his voice quite yet in the beginning.
Yeah.
He's like, hello, this is Howard Stern, and you're listening to Iron Maiden. That's basically, it's kind of...
Yeah, and also school radio sucks. Like, you can't really do much with it, you know, so
he
just for sure.
Keeps getting bumped up in the circuit, you know. He moves to, like, Detroit, does the Detroit circuit, moves up to the Washington, D.C. circuit.
He actually does some management because he was just like, you know what? Like, I need money. Like, I want to marry this girl.
He was a program director.
Yeah, program director, and pretty good at it, apparently, from what his very loud... Italian boss.
That dude was fucking hilarious, man.
Honestly, dude, his
Eastern European or something.
Dude, his performance was fantastic, honestly, man. I actually really liked that character a lot.
Yeah, I had this boss who basically tells him to fire someone. Howard Stern doesn't want to do it. He has to throw up. So. Yeah. But then he just keeps getting bumped up, basically, moving up the ranks. He starts improvising and like crazy radio bits. Like he brings a snare drum into the studio and says like, oh, we got Ringo Starr here. Oh, I'm Ringo Starr. And he starts like just hitting the drum.
His Ringo impression is literally just like a British impression or whatever part they're from. What part? Bentley, you would probably know. What part are they from?
The Beatles?
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah. Okay, so get the most typical Liverpool accent from the 60s or whatever.
Liverpool lads.
Yeah. It's crazy because you kind of do see the very much real life of being a DJ at that time, because it was very much you go where they want you, essentially, or like if you want to break into like a bigger market, you're gonna have to move around because you're not gonna like you can't increase your market that much wherever you're at, because especially like smaller stations, they can't syndicate shit. They can't get like their radio plays in like other parts. So he literally just had to keep moving around until he made it to the big time, which is New York, obviously. Right. So he goes from
the main. I just want to say
Boston, essentially. To
Boston. He
at
studies
school.
in.
Yeah, he does it at school, and then
radio, and then he goes to Hartford,
Connecticut.
Goes to Detroit,
Connecticut, right?
Then Detroit, then Washington,
DC,
and then
which DC obviously would have to be a huge market at that point.
Detroit too, probably at that time.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
But yeah, like radio still is and was back in the day is like basically you're just selling ads to people, then you're cushioning that with like rock songs or whatever the station is curated towards. Like the main money-making, profit-making thing of radio is the ads. Like that is how it even is able to
that's
like
the only
keep
way
going.
They make money, right?
Right. So Howard Stern's constantly like pissing off the advertisers, but and like he's like they're all dropping out, but he's like providing this crazy like content that people just can't not tune into.
Yeah,
I really like it's this weird kind of.
I really love that scene when they're trying to argue about like firing him or not or whatever. And they're like, what they say? Like the average radio listener listens for 18 minutes, but if they're listening to Howard Stern, it's like an hour and a half or something like that. And they're like, okay, what about the people that hate him? Yes, the people that hate him, they listen to him for 2.5 hours at a time. He's like, why do they listen to him? And like the people who hate him and the people who love him say the same thing, which is they want to hear what he says next. And I thought that was just so genius because I was like, that's super believable, honestly. Like there probably was like he's like a bunch of fundamentalist groups trying to cancel him. So there's someone just dictating every show. Like he said this many times. He said cock 8 times in fucking 2 minutes or whatever.
Definitely a populist sort of guy, just saying what the people are really thinking, but the people can't say because they're too scared to say it. Howard Stern will say it,
especially on the radio, right? Because they were very just like heavy regulated, like
in the 80s,
like,
especially.
Dude, like the FCC would like love to just come down on people and be like, fine.
And in the 80s, that's when he's kind of coming up. That was a very like censorship heavy like time in America.
Yeah,
people were very like
Tipper Gore, dude, trying to wait. No, that's Tipper Gore. That's 90s. My bad. I don't know why I was
Ronald Reagan, technically.
Yeah. Tipper Gore, right?
Tipper Gore was Al Gore's wife.
Yeah,
which would have been under Clinton.
Yeah, I know she was like I know she was like super heavy into censorship.
Yeah,
which is, like,
she put on the fucking explicit content like logo on the
that's
album.
Why that exists
now.
Yeah. Now that's like a big pop culture piece. Like if you have like I don't know, like that says a lot about whatever you're about to listen to or watch or whatever. Yeah. But okay, right. You're right. That's like early 90s. That's later.
But he definitely does some crazy shit in this movie. He has like a lady have an orgasm by like having her turn up the bass on the speaker.
Turn down the treble, turn up the bass.
Which is honestly probably one of the funnier scenes in the movie.
Yeah. Lie down the speaker and then straddle it is how he says it, which I guess is the right the right word to use there. I thought
and every time he does something like that, his producers are like, you can see him behind the glass. They're like, what the hell is he doing? He's got to stop him. The FCC are going to like fine us so much, fine him $20,000, blah, blah, blah.
Doesn't matter when you're getting $100,000 like per like ad spot or I don't know what those prices were back then, but who cared about a few $1,000 fines when clearly you're clearing that in like one ad spot probably. I was so I don't know a lot about Howard Stern. Like I've heard some of his bits, like I've seen some of his show. But the most famous thing I always hear about is the whole Baba Booey thing. I was really expecting that we were going to find out the origin of Baba Booey in this movie.
No, not really. He's in there.
Like the guy, right? But I don't know. Like I didn't know who that
Delabate.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was. I still don't understand.
Yeah, I don't
know the origin of the Baba Booey bit. But,
yeah, I don't know either. Actually, like I know. So his name is Gary Delabate, and he was Howard Stern's producer on the show.
Okay.
Or whatever. He's the person who would like set up the interview or the guests and all that. And so like he said that he got a cell, which is like an animation cell of a character named Baba Booey from the Jungle Book. The character's name is actually Baba Louie.
Okay, I was about to say.
In the Jungle Book, but he called it Baba Booey, and so everyone started making fun of him. It's like Baba Booey, it's Baba Louie, and it's like it just stuck for some reason.
Okay,
and forever his name is Baba Booey because he just called it wrong one time. Baba Booey. That's kind of the point of the show, is that they like really rip on people and like almost bully people,
right?
You know, to the point of like ridiculousness.
Yeah. So I always did wonder like the origin of the Baba Booey thing, because I've seen it. I feel like I've just seen it in so many like TV shows where they reference that, and it's usually someone just interrupting somebody else. It'd be like, Baba Booey, like they'll just grab the mic and go, Baba Booey, Baba
Howard
Booey.
Stern's penis.
Yeah, Howard Stern's yeah.
I don't know where that necessarily came from. I guess like maybe like Howard Stern told people to do that back in the day to like news crews, but I don't know. Like there's
obviously I don't know.
He had these people on this show called Rich and Sal back in the 2000s, and they like made out in front of like a news crew one time, like randomly in New York. They were just like behind, and they just started making out with each other, and it's like a pretty funny bit. So they fuck with like news crews, and they like crash like celebrity like panels and stuff. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look into that, I guess. Yeah, I've definitely never heard of that or seen that, so it sounds kind of funny.
Stuttering John has like said that a few times.
I will say I was also very impressed with his crew. Like I like his so there was Robin and then Fred, there we go.
And Jackie the Joker or whatever. He was
Jackie
in there for a
little
little.
But yeah, we see him later. Yeah, I think it's not until NBC where he shows up, right? Yeah.
Right. He was there for a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's the only one that they didn't really like introduce.
Yeah.
They just kind of did that one.
Yeah. I think they say like, like a new member to the panel, and they'll say like Jackie the Joker, which I thought was the character's name and not him or whatever. But yeah, but I will say like Robin was great. Like I actually love
great acting.
Like
too.
she, yeah, dude, like their chemistry is really just like outstanding. Honestly, like it made a lot of sense. And you told me that they're still together, right? Or like they still do the show together or whatever.
Those three: Fred, Robin, and Baba Booey and Howard.
Oh, okay. Baba Booey still in the picture?
Booey's still in it.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, I guess why would you want to leave that show? But sometimes people do. There's famous break. I mean, Opie and Anthony, like they broke up.
Pretty stressful being on that show because they're like picking apart your life or whatever. And like any like slight mistake you make, they're gonna like let everybody know.
Yeah, and even not even like things that are your fault. Like I mean, there was a whole bit when his kid dies, right?
Right.
They're just like,
and he takes a joke a little bit too far. Like,
yeah, he's like, oh, a real man would have made sure that baby was still alive or something like that. I was like, damn, dude. I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy, honestly.
But you want to listen. That's the thing.
I know,
you hear that and you're like, this is horrible. I can't stop.
I would definitely more be thinking like, yo, is Howard actually okay with this? Because that's kind of wild, man. Like he just lost his kid, and they're immediately like just start kind of making fun of him about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was a listener, I would just wonder what Howard was thinking when whoever was like laying the jokes. I was I'm
sure that actually happened too. I would bet. Like
I think it seems like a pretty big part of his life, right? Like his story, like he lost his first baby, and then thankfully later we see that he ends up with 3 kids, 4 kids,
pretty much
like that.
3 kids,
3 kids, yeah,
all daughters, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out which one the youngest one was. It was a boy or a girl, but I couldn't really tell, so I have no idea. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. This movie was funny. It had some really good bits.
This is a good little flick, I would say.
It's a very believable story of like a rise to fame, essentially. Mm-hmm. Like how I do like that we saw when he was a little kid and what got him interested into being a DJ, to going like, because he said like, I don't know, he very much portrayed like when he was in high school and stuff that he's just like, he wasn't like a personality. He wasn't like a very funny guy or anything. And then all of a sudden he kind of is. But maybe it was just like he just became more comfortable being able to reveal himself and realize that like, wow, he actually is like, he has a huge personality and is actually like really funny, and somehow landed this total baddie girl named Allison, played by Mary McCormack.
Mary McCormack.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just a guy who likes to sit on the couch, read Mad Magazine, like that's who Howard Stern is deep down.
I mean, he has a character named Fart Man. So and when I saw the Mad Magazine, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense now that he like grew up reading Mad. Or like he had this character Fart Man, and then I saw the Mad Magazine in a different scene. I was like, yeah, that seems right for an average Mad Magazine fan for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, that was good character development. A little bit.
And then it's also your pretty typical story about like who the antagonist is gonna be. It's I don't know. You can just tell like, oh, it's definitely gonna be a radio station manager or something who's gonna try to like tone him down or something like that, right? Like try to
say that.
Yeah, try to be I don't know, his fucking whoever breaks horses, whatever that like a cowboy.
Handler,
Bronco Buster.
Yeah, Bronco Buster. So that was like pretty predictable, but it was. I mean,
this whole movie's kind of predictable in a way.
Yeah,
like
but I mean, the jokes
plot.
the jokes are great. So Bella, you've seen this a few times. Do you have a favorite scene in this movie?
Favorite scene?
Yeah, is there like a scene that you like just randomly think about all the time because for whatever reason?
Well, I mentioned the scene with the bass and the subwoofer and the lady.
Yeah,
or whatever. And I think that's a
pretty
pretty
good
good
one.
scene. But like they're like I think the climax at the end where like Howard Stern rushes into Pig Vomit's room.
Oh, his office.
Yeah, in his office
yeah.
while they're on air, and he
Yeah.
like has like the telephone with him, and he's like holding it up to Paul Giamatti's face or Pig Vomit's face. That scene's pretty funny. I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think he actually did that too in the show.
I could totally believe that, honestly. And that would have been fucking great radio. Imagine like hearing your favorite DJ getting into it with his boss. I mean, that just sounds fantastic, honestly. But
I feel like a lot of the rivalry was a little bit overblown for radio. Like I think you call him Pig Blood in real life or something like that.
Pig Blood
or something like that. But yeah, I think they definitely take some liberties just to make it a little bit more entertaining and make it one guy who's against him kind of instead of like a board.
Probably like, yeah,
people.
okay, gotcha. I mean, that dude just fired his board essentially when they realized who they hired, which I thought like that's what to me was kind of funny. I'm like, wait, did this dude really hire someone without actually like listening to his show at all? Because that's such a wild concept. Like, I get it. They were just like looking at the numbers and be like, this guy's like the number one in DC. No, like, he's literally like no one else is listening to anything else. It's just him. And then I'm like, you'd still probably want to find out what this dude talks about like on his show, but I don't know. So I don't know if that actually happened or whatever, but
good for New York.
But
this is also like one of the only movies I could think of about radio. Like I've never seen Radio with Cuba Gooding Jr.
It was definitely not about that.
No, radio's not about radio. God
Radio has nothing to do with the radio whatsoever.
But yeah, this is a good radio movie. I think.
I didn't even think about that until you just brought that up. Like, why aren't there more like radio movies?
Oh, there's the Robin Williams Good Morning Vietnam. Isn't that
yeah
kind of a radio movie? I haven't seen it.
But that's just him on his base camp, right?
Yeah.
That's like the whole movie,
Right.
Yeah, right. Like, he's just on the PA or whatever.
There's
it's a cool lifestyle.
Show-wise, there was news radio, which is pretty big. Oh,
Frasier.
Frasier, like probably the biggest radio.
and there's the movie Airheads, which is about them like taking over a radio station to play their metal record that they made.
Okay, that's true.
That's
yeah, not a lot of radio movies, and the biggest radio or there's a movie literally called The Radio, and it has nothing to do with a radio station.
The radio.
The radio. That's
just,
gonna be next.
Yeah, it's just radio, I think.
Right? No, it's just radio.
Radiohead.
Yeah, it's just radio.
I'm flaunting my Radiohead shirt right now, actually.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest movie about our radio station. I really can't think of anything else right now. I think even the TV show News Radio was like, I always heard that technically it wasn't that big of a show.
News Radio, yeah.
It was like never
Phil
number
Hartman
one.
was in it.
Yeah, it was like never like number one or anything. It was somewhere in there. I mean, it lasted 5 seasons, which was pretty decent back then.
And
but
Phil Hartman died when he was on it, which makes people talk about it more. Like that's why I'm more familiar with it.
Okay.
Because Phil Hartman died while it was filming. I think season 3 or 4 he died in.
Oh shit, really? I never got that far in the series, so I have no idea. But I know the story about how he dies and everything. Yeah. Which is insane. I mean, oh my God.
And younger people probably know about that show because of Joe Rogan, I would guess.
Yeah, because he's brought it up a few times.
Yeah,
but
he
usually like he doesn't bring it up. But if someone, because there'll be someone who brings up like, oh, you were on News Radio. That was a pretty big show. I mean, Phil Hartman was like the star. I mean, he wasn't the main character, but he was like the biggest name attached to that show at the time.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then later, which is crazy because then we
Andy Dick.
Yeah, and then Andy Dick was on there, and obviously we got Joe Rogan, who's the fucking biggest podcaster in the world now.
Stephen Root.
Stephen Root, dude. Oh my god, dude. That's why I actually got really excited about the show, because Stephen Root is one of my favorite, whatever, voice actors, whatever you want to call him. I almost watch anything that he's in.
King of the Hill.
He's Bill, dude.
Oh right, that's him.
Bill the Bulldozer.
He's also Fuchs in Barry.
Right. Yeah. Dodgeball and. I just didn't know the name.
Dodgeball, right? Yeah.
I didn't know the name, but I definitely know who you're talking about.
If you watch Idiocracy, he's the judge who sentenced him to jail for stealing from the hospital or whatever. He's in Get Out.
Milton, Office Space.
Milton in Office Space.
Fucking Milton.
Dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, dude, he's done so much, and he nails every character he plays. I love Stephen Root, dude. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he's been in a handful of Coen Brothers movies too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was thinking about the Pan guy from fucking Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Right.
Yeah.
What did he say? Pan shot, pot shot, or something like that. I remember he's the one rushing like James Franco's character, right?
Yeah, because he's the guy at the bank.
The bank teller, yeah. But I remember he just comes out like he's wearing like a pot on his head, and he has like just random pieces.
Yeah, he's
of, like,
using it as armor.
Yeah. He has like random like kitchen stuff just like strapped to him, and he's using it as like at that time modern day armor.
Yeah.
Buster Scruggs.
Right.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
He's also in Oh Brother Where Art Thou. He was the blind guy that like puts him on the radio.
That's right.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he was
swooping back to radio there. Look at that.
I know, I started instantly thinking about like what other radio movies were, and then I don't know, it's not a radio movie, but Detroit Rock City, when they're just trying to get to the radio station to like collect the tickets or whatever, but that's like kind of just where I went with that.
And the radio concept is actually pretty good to integrate a soundtrack with. Like I feel like this movie did a good job, because like he would do something wild on the radio show, and then immediately follow it up with like an Iron Maiden song or something. And, which like it's a good way to do a soundtrack for a movie.
Oh, for sure. I was really paying attention to the music in this in the movie, or like, especially when he's like starting off as a DJ. It's like, yeah, dude, I think I heard like some Jimi Hendrix. I think I heard some I don't know if I heard Led Zeppelin, but I know I heard like whatever, like Iron Maiden. I was just like, damn, dude, like this is a pretty good soundtrack, honestly.
I think Black Sabbath.
I'm sure, yeah.
I heard Sabbath.
We see AC/DC perform live at one point at like Howard Stern almost day, essentially. It was just like a huge gathering to like to celebrate Howard Stern
turning #1, I think, probably.
Yeah,
it was right after that.
In New York. But this movie definitely ends at a pretty good place, but I think he got divorced right after this movie. I'm not really sure what the year was.
Yeah.
Which is kind of upsetting, because this movie is very centered around his love of his wife or whatever. And you can tell it's almost kind of like a love letter to his wife, and it's almost like him saying sorry for kind of like fucking up in the past.
Sorry for putting our personal life out there for 15,
all the
20
time,
years.
Yeah.
And so
it's
kind of disappointing that they like divorced after
we
that.
skipped over it earlier, but yeah, because he meets his like wife or whatever in college or whatever, right? And then he gets her. He doesn't. Well, I mean, he does like kind of cheat on her, but technically not. There's like a scene
Fred's
where
there
like,
the whole time
like
for some reason.
he like gets to like
while he's
whatever.
cheating on her.
Yeah, he's like with this actress, and she's really trying to sleep with him, and he just kept like letting it go until it got kind of too far. She's like, "Oh, take a bath with me." He's like, "No, I'm married." It's like, but she's like, "Oh, leave your underwear on," because everyone
it's
knows
like
it's
swim trunks.
Yeah, it's like swim trunks, and they're like, it's not cheating. And then I love how like it's so funny, because in my head I was just like, okay, it kind of is like swim trunks, with this. You're still in a bathtub with another woman. Clearly,
just a massage, dude.
Yeah, I was like, clearly no. And then, so they break up for a while, essentially, and then she comes back in the picture, like forgives him, and they stick together throughout the entire movie, which spans I don't know how many more years after that. But she was really backing him up the entire time, and then yeah, we see the end of the movie.
Put up with a lot too.
Put up with a lot. I mean, put out like a lot of their
personal life gets out there and stuff.
Yeah,
and plus like Howard Stern is like having naked women on the show come on and like flirting with them and being very like provocative with them while he's married.
Yeah,
so there's just this weird thing going on.
I know that, but like the amount of self-control he must have had during that is kind of insane. Honestly, right. I'm like, wow, you really never cheated on your wife during that. You're probably one of the strongest guys out there. You know,
divorced, but
I mean, yeah, eventually, yeah. So yeah, like the movie literally ends with him like talking to the camera. Essentially, he's just like, "Oh yeah, like I stuck with Allison the whole time, and it's because she stuck with me, you know." And you really gotta commend that, respect that, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you told me like, they got divorced like 3 years later. I was like, oh my god, that's how they should have ended the movie. No, okay, that'll be in the deluxe edition.
Yeah. Now he's married to some like supermodel named Beth.
How long? Do you know how long they've been together?
Probably like over 10 years.
Okay.
After he like moved to Sirius Radio.
Oh,
which he got paid like big fucking bucks for that Sirius.
He's probably the biggest Sirius person like ever for a while. Honestly, I can see that.
Yeah, honestly, he brought people to Sirius.
Yeah, at this point, like I associate him with being the Sirius XM guy.
Yeah. He brought people to Sirius. Like once he moved from normal like terrestrial radio, as they call it, to Sirius Radio, people stopped listening to normal radio and bought Sirius radios and like moved to.
I can see that, and then because it's like because it's a subscription service or whatever, it's not regulated by the FCC. Like they don't really have like fines and stuff like that, so you could like really like let wild.
Right. I'm sure there's.
When it got to Sirius,
I bet there's probably like some governmental like you probably can't say like Trump is like gonna be golfing somewhere and this is like his schedule.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the thing for the whitest kids you know, but he's gonna be like what I can't say is, you know,
like you probably can't. I don't know. There's probably some stuff like I don't know what the rules are.
Like the censorship when it comes to like cursing and like. He talks about a lot of sexual stuff that I'm sure you can't do on regular radio.
Is him going on Sirius didn't really like make him talk about that much more interesting stuff because he would still talk about horrible shit on the terrestrial radio and just get away with it.
Yeah, but now he's not getting fined for every other word
now he
he
can
says.
say fuck and shit.
Yeah, fuck, shit, cocksucker, like whatever.
It's almost kind of funnier when like he had to kind of censor himself on the radio and he would say like darn or whatever. Like he would like use like dumb words that like weren't fitting, but it would make it kind of funnier. I don't know.
Oh, dude, that would actually win a really good bit. Like he starts off the show with he talks about like it's obviously just mostly like a joke on the audience where he goes like, oh, and here's our new sponsorship, and it's like the Mormon Church or whatever, and then he just says things like darn, like the worst thing he says is like dang nabbit or something, and then he's like, I'm just fucking kidding you guys or whatever, like just like an actual joke on the audience.
Good old Stern.
But yeah, I mean the movie was funny, man.
That's a good funny shocking movie.
I definitely laughed a few times. Really good bits. Kind of make me like Howard Stern a little bit more. Still can't get over some of the COVID shit, so I still kind of say fuck him. But overall, it was a funny movie. I enjoyed it.
He's just a very neurotic guy for sure. Like, yeah, that's just how he is. He's like probably anxious all the time, so he's probably nervous to go outside. He probably wanted an excuse to stay home, honestly.
Maybe,
now he does his radio show in his fucking like bedroom, essentially.
Does he?
He was during COVID.
That makes sense.
Might have moved back to the studio.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But this is probably one of the best. I don't know if it's a biopic, but like I guess biographical movies about a celebrity.
Yeah.
It's written by him. He acts in it. You get the original actors in there, like which is kind of unique for one of these movies. I feel like usually you cast like someone else. You would have cast like Zac Efron to play Howard Stern or something. Or, I don't know.
Who would have been a good Howard Stern?
Good Howard.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, there you go.
That's I don't know why I immediately thought of Jeff Goldblum.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Is that Jewish enough?
You can do an Italian. You can get an Italian guy to play Howard Stern.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was really trying to figure out who his first station manager was. I was like, I can't tell if this dude's just like super Italian or like I think you said like Eastern European or something like that.
Romanian.
Yeah. I was really trying to figure that out.
But it's a good, funny movie. It's not like a masterpiece or anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen by any means. I don't know where I would put that in the list, but it's a good, solid comedy, man.
And it's like a good history because it's like if you like podcasts, that goes down to like back to radio. Right. Like, all podcasters are like inspired by like Howard Stern and radio. So it's like it's a good like history into that too a little bit. It's good.
Definitely.
You know what this makes me miss though is like it kind of sucks that we don't have someone like that now. Essentially, like
Howard Stern.
Yeah. I mean, there's like podcasts that will have like porn stars on and stuff, and they'll like interview them. But
now they're politicians.
That's where it ends, essentially. Like it's just them talking. Like you're not gonna get one of them writing a Sibian or just like be like naked the entire podcast, and you bring in like a priest or something. I don't know, whatever the fuck Howard Stern did. But
yeah, YouTube's rules would be like way too.
Oh yeah, obviously
they wouldn't let you.
No. But that's the thing is like you don't have to do it on YouTube, right? Like you could probably do it on somewhere else. But I don't know, man. It kind of sucks that like we don't have anything like this now. Even like the most like shocking podcast now, like most like closer Howard Stern like did nothing like this. They like again, no one's writing Sibians. They're not like crank. They're not crank calling fucking. I don't know why I keep going to the church, but like your local church or something. Sounds like a bit he would do. I don't know, but yeah, it makes me a little envious that we don't have anything like that now.
He used to also have like it was called the Whack Pack.
Okay,
and it was a bunch of like mentally challenged people. You would have on the show.
Oh, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is
yeah,
one
dude,
of them.
Beetlejuice is fucking great. Like, I've gotten so many clips about Beetlejuice. I love that guy.
And then Gary the retard is what they used to call him, but now he's Gary the
what? The R word?
They keep trying to workshop it and keep changing it.
Retard's coming back, dude.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, give it a few years, it'll be fine. People get over it.
You can't really do stuff like that now, especially because it was sort of like a freak show thing.
Yeah,
it's like look at these like dumb people like be dumb.
Yeah, or just having midgets on because they're midgets.
Midget tossing and stuff. They would have midget tossers. Yeah, it was that kind of show.
Oh, dude, I can't believe we didn't bring up fucking Beetlejuice until now. I've seen so many great clips of fucking Beetlejuice over the years, dude. I love it, man. Oh my god. I always think about him in this one costume where they have like it's like thick round glasses, like there's like circle
like Urkel basically.
Black, but like the circle black frames with thick ass fucking glasses, and then he's wearing like a white shirt and like I want to say like a rainbow suspender, some kind of like colored suspender, and like shorts. It's just such a funny sight, man. Beetlejuice had me cracking up, dude. And
he's become a meme machine now.
He's transcended the Howard Stern show. Now Beetlejuice is more famous than Howard Stern is to our like demographic.
For sure. Yeah.
Most people would recognize him from the memes rather than
for sure. Oh, dude,
which is pretty hilarious.
Beetlejuice, dude. I can never word it right, but I always remember when he was like, "What's 7 + 7?" And then he's like,
2.
Yeah.
4, 5.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Howard Stern, man, I gotta get to him. Back in the day, dude, he was an absolute entertainment genius, man. He knew what the people wanted, and he also knew he made people realize what they wanted. Like they probably didn't know that they were missing something like this, and he just introduced a whole new world to a whole new level of entertainment to the United States. So,
yeah, because before it was just
give it up to him.
Just playing records and then saying the weather, no traffic. Yeah,
maybe you'll have like wacky, like you'll have like a little bit with like made up wacky characters or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely didn't have naked chicks giving him massages and then riding Sibians and midget toss, and we would have never had Beetlejuice, bro. Like we would have never had Beetlejuice if it wasn't for Howard Stern. So,
that's the best thing that the Howard Stern show is giving humanity. Is
I mean, long term wise, yeah, probably.
It didn't do great things to Artie Lang. Which Artie Lang wasn't really part of this movie or anything because that was
right. Yeah, was that later that he joined or Artie Lang?
Yeah, like 2000s. Norm Macdonald went on the show and he brought Artie Lang on because they were buddies. Okay. And then Artie Lang ended up like replacing Jackie, the Joke Man, pretty much.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. What'd you think, RJ?
I thought it was really funny. Yeah. Nothing like you said, nothing spectacular about it, but it had some good laughs, and it was one of the better biographical movies I've seen. It told the story in a pretty funny way, but yeah, I loved it.
Also, I'm pretty sure Howard Stern has a thing for fucking fake tits because it's not even about the people that he gets on his show, like in the movie. But every girl he's like super attracted to in the movie, besides his wife, has huge tits. Like, every single one of them. If they need a hot chick for something, not even the hot chick can just have normal small tits. She had to have huge.
Why would you show boring normal tits when you have a big movie, dude? It's like big boobies for the big movie, bro.
Yeah, bro. I like them natty.
It's America.
I like them natty, bro. I'll choose natty any day. No, but yeah, he definitely has a thing for fake tits.
Howard Stern probably went to fucking Betty Thomas, the director of this, and was like, if I'm making this movie, there has to be at least like 12 giant tits in this movie.
We're like, there's like casting, and it's like, and now she's gonna get naked. It's like she's the receptionist, and she's naked. I don't care, like whatever.
Yeah, lots of boobies in this movie.
Yeah. So for anyone who wants to see what tits look like in the 90s, this is a great fucking way to check it out. But yeah, good solid movie, good funny movie. I would wonder how, because we're obviously all the same age group here essentially. I mean, me and RJ are 95, you're 94, Bentley. Something about a movie like this, I would just wonder how Gen Z kids would react, or Gen Z even teens, whatever.
They probably wouldn't like the racist stuff. Like the racist, like
dude,
the black lady in the helicopter in the sky. That bit he did.
Oh, that was good.
That would probably insult Gen Z, I think. Kill the white man.
Yeah, kill the white man.
Kill the white man.
I have a nephew who's Gen Z, and he doesn't really say like anything like racist, like in general or whatever. But I'll ask him, I'll be like, how racist is your group chat? And he's like, it can get pretty bad. And I'm like, glad to hear it. Honestly, dude, like, I'm glad that at least, I mean, I know they're not going to be like posting it or whatever, but at least, you know, they can still let it out in a private group chat. Hopefully none of them will become famous later and it'll get leaked and then fucking canceled. But, you know, we'll see. Only time will tell.
Do you think Gen Z can watch this movie? Should we do a test and like have one of your like cousins watch it?
Well, they would have to be 18, I guess. I don't know, technically, whatever. But
also, why would a Gen Z person give a fuck about Howard Stern? It's
Yeah,
like,
they're literally gonna be like the guy from
Yeah,
maybe, because I don't think they really watch America's Got Talent, but some of them probably do. They're like,
right?
Is that the judge from America's Got Talent? Because they probably were wondering like, who is this guy and why is he famous? Or like Sharon Osbourne, like I don't know. They definitely had some. I think that's X Factor, but still. I am curious a little bit to if Gen Z could actually like this movie.
I don't know. Not the woke ones, at least.
I mean, it seems like most of them are woke, but I honestly I haven't looked at the numbers recently, so I have no idea. But I will say, good, solid comedy. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 to a 7 right now, just like because I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, honestly.
Yeah,
same. Yeah.
It's like a more than fair rating, to be honest.
Like, I feel like the plot takes a few liberties. Like, there's a scene, like at the very end of the movie, his wife is pregnant and he is celebrating his like being number one in New York City, and then as he's at the parade, his like wife goes into labor.
Oh right, yeah.
I'm sure they kind of like just merged two things together. There's like a few things like that, which isn't
take
bad,
some artistic liberties for sure.
Right. I guess it just makes it less realistic, I suppose.
Why is it called Private Parts? I don't know.
He shows his private life to the world. He's nude in the cover. He's really laying bare his. I don't know.
I mean, we see his ass, and I'm pretty sure I saw his ball.
Yeah.
And like when he's getting out of the bathtub in his tidy whities or whatever. I don't know, dude. I felt like I saw something in between his thighs, and I was just like, I think I saw scrot, dude. But I don't know, obviously.
Scrot slip. One of the famous movie scrot slips.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd recommend it to anyone who likes a decent comedy, honestly. That's kind of just basically anyone I would recommend it to, because I don't think anyone I know cares about Howard Stern anymore. So.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, if you like a solid comedy, I'd recommend it.
Do you think it'd be good if you don't even know who Howard Stern is at all, and you have like no knowledge of radio, and you're just watching it as like a movie in itself?
Yes, actually, I do.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Actually, it works.
Again, I was never like the biggest Howard Stern fan, but I thoroughly enjoyed it as just like a movie. Again, I like literally the beginning of like we saw him as a child and what got him into radio, and then how he ends up being like the number one radio person in all of the United States. But I also love a story when like someone just like sticks it to the man, or like sticks it to his boss. Love that kind of shit. So personally, I thoroughly enjoyed like the story without even knowing. Like if I didn't know who Howard Stern was, I still would have really liked it.
Yeah, it could almost be just like a fictional story with how crazy it is. Like you could just put a fictional guy, but all that shit really happened, and it's kind of an interesting story.
A couple decades from now, no one's gonna know who fucking Howard Stern is, and some kid's gonna somehow dig up this movie and then be like, "Oh, that was pretty good, actually."
Don't know who Beetlejuice is.
Yeah. As long as TikTok exists, Beetlejuice exists, dude.
I think that's a beautiful thing, honestly. I think that's wonderful. All right, go see it. It's funny.
Yeah. It's solid. I don't know if it's on anything, but yeah, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. All right, guys,
and watch it before they take out the naughty parts. Oh, you never know in the future.
Yeah, don't let Disney ever own this movie.
Yeah, right. Once Disney gets their hands.
All right, guys, this has been 3 Hacks in a Movie. I've been Emilio.
I'm Benley,
and I'm RJ.
Have a good night.